What if the greatest transfer of power in history didn't happen through war, but through your wallet? Not through invasion, not through legislation, but through something far quieter: currency devaluation. Most people think inflation is accidental, a side effect, a miscalculation. But what if it isn't? What if weakening a currency isn't failure, but strategy? Tonight, we uncovering how currency devaluation became one of the most powerful tools of silent control and why it keeps repeating across history. For centuries, money represented something tangible: gold, silver, stored labor, real assets. Its supply was limited by physical scarcity. But as economies expanded and wars became more expensive, governments faced a constraint. They couldn't spend beyond their reserves, so they changed the rules. From the Roman Empire reducing silver content in coins, to the abandonment of the gold standard in the 20th century, monetary systems slowly shifted from asset-backed money to policy-backed currency. This wasn't random. It allowed governments and central banks to expand supply without immediate taxation. Instead of taking wealth directly, they diluted it quietly. The twist? Devaluation often came disguised as stimulus, liquidity support, or economic stability. The pattern begins with pressure: war spending, economic downturns, rising debt. Rather than default openly, governments historically chose another route: reduce the value of the currency. When more money enters circulation without equivalent growth in goods and services, purchasing power declines. At first it feels manageable, but cause and effect compound. Prices rise. Savings erode. Debt becomes easier to repay in nominal terms. Governments benefit because liabilities shrink in real value. The public rarely connects the dots. With the rise of central banking systems, devaluation became institutionalized. No longer a rare emergency measure, it became policy. Interest rates were lowered to encourage borrowing. Money supply expanded to prevent recessions. Asset prices rose, creating the illusion of prosperity. Credit fueled growth, but growth fueled more debt. And debt required more expansion. Each cycle required slightly more intervention than the last. What once required modest stimulus now demanded massive liquidity injections. The system began to depend on devaluation to survive. Eventually, confidence becomes the breaking point. Currency value relies on trust. When trust weakens, acceleration begins. Rapid inflation, capital flight, asset bubbles bursting. History shows the pattern. When devaluation outpaces productivity, instability follows. Savings lose value faster than wages rise. Middle classes shrink. Wealth concentrates in assets that inflate faster than currency declines. And here's the uncomfortable truth: those closest to newly created money benefit first, those furthest away absorb the cost last. Currency devaluation doesn't destroy wealth evenly, it redistributes it. Asset holders often see gains. Wage earners see erosion. Fixed income savers see silent losses. Governments reduce the real burden of debt. Central banks expand influence. Economic dependence increases. And yet, because the process unfolds gradually, it rarely sparks immediate revolt. It feels like rising costs, not systemic design. Attempts to fix devaluation often involve more of the same tools: lower rates, more liquidity, debt restructuring. But each solution deepens dependency. It's like treating a structural problem with temporary relief. And over time, cycles shorten. Today, global debt levels are higher than at any point in recorded history. Currencies are no longer tied to physical assets. Monetary expansion can occur digitally, instantly. Inflation waves ripple across nations simultaneously. The pattern remains unchanged. Crisis, expansion, asset inflation, currency erosion. Repeat. The scale grows larger. The intervals grow shorter. And yet the explanation remains the same. Necessary stabilization. First, currency devaluation is rarely accidental. It often follows predictable financial stress patterns. Second, inflation is not neutral. It redistributes wealth quietly and unevenly. Third, systems built on expanding debt require expanding currency supply to remain stable. The question is not whether devaluation happens. The question is how far it can go before confidence breaks. History shows that monetary systems don't collapse suddenly. They erode gradually. then suddenly. The warning signs are rarely dramatic at first. They are statistical, subtle, dismissed, but patterns don't lie. If you want to understand how money truly works beyond headlines and surface explanations, you have to study the incentives behind the system. Subscribe for deeper breakdowns into monetary history, global debt cycles, and the hidden mechanics shaping economic power. Because the most powerful tools of control are the ones you never notice. And currency, be the quietest one of all.